What makes a perfect ending? How do you close out such a compelling and relevant season of a podcast in a way that feels at once surprising and satisfying, timely and timeless? An ending that emphasizes everything the season has been trying to say and ties up the necessary loose ends, while also leaving some things open-ended and forcing your fans and your new platform to demand a third season. Does an ending like that even exist? Or should a podcast this good just go on forever, into eternity? You might remember that last time on A Very Fatal Murder, this happened.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Holy shit, I won! Holy shit, yeah!
Not guilty. I had done it. I'd successfully proven my client, Milo Reed, was innocent, and I'd saved him from decades, possibly even life, in prison. In many ways, I was a hero, and in many other ways, I was a hero as well. A lot has happened since the trial ended. That sound you hear? That's my new beard. And just like my new beard, my journey to get Milo acquitted was long, dark, and confusing. But now, it was finally over. I'm David Pascal, and this is A Very Fatal Murder. After the world heard the verdict for the first time on the live episode of this podcast, it was all anyone could talk about. The public dissected the jury's decision, and by extension, my second season.
How the hell could they say not guilty? What were they thinking?
This is an egregious miscarriage of justice, plain and simple.
The man who murdered Leanna Reed is walking free tonight, and his name is Milo Reed.
Somehow, a lot of people thought the jury had gotten it wrong, which makes a lot of sense considering how often the justice system usually does get it wrong. But over the next couple of weeks, several jurors appeared on the news and broke down their reasoning for finding Milo not guilty.
Milo is a guy, you know? I guess my thinking was like, I'm a guy. What if this happened to me?
As a mother of 3 boys and a stockholder in Terrain, I knew he was innocent right away.
I felt incredible. People everywhere were talking about the case. They were even taking to the streets to say how much the whole thing meant to them.
Are we gonna sit here quietly while Milo Reed gets away with killing his wife?
No! Milo's guilty.
Justicia para Leanna Reed.
Regardless of how you feel about the verdict, whether you think it was completely correct or just mostly correct, it had ignited a nationwide conversation about the criminal justice system, white male privilege, the tech industry, and more. And that's exactly what I'd set out to do from day one. The verdict was in. Season 2 of A Very Fatal Murder was guilty of being an absolute and unconditional success in the first degree. Beyond any reasonable doubt, this podcast would be sentenced to life on year-end top 10 lists. Or would it? Despite the verdict, Milo wasn't completely out of the weeds. A nonprofit called The Guilt Project had taken on Milo's case and was trying to unexonerate him. Meanwhile, despite the substantial buzz around the first 9 episodes, I wasn't completely thrilled with the season's metrics. After a week or so, I checked the rankings on the podcast app, and I was surprised by what I found. Milo, we're number 4.
Don't pay attention to that stuff, man. I got away with it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's just you'd think we'd be number 1. Like, what even are these shows that are ahead of us? Jeez. Gun and Badge, The Killer Files. These titles suck. There were 3 podcasts ahead of us in the charts, and from the looks of it, every one of them was about Milo. The number 1 podcast was titled Law and Recorder. I decided to listen to this so-called number 1 podcast to see what they had that I didn't, and I was shocked.
Milo Reed is a guilty man, and over the course of these 6 episodes, I'm going to prove it. You're listening to Law and Recorder. I'm Sydney Aguilar.
It was my former assistant, Sydney.
I was intimately involved in the case since I was helping record the podcast A Very Fatal Murder. I was an assistant, although I should mention I was technically doing the work of an associate producer, but we don't need to get into that right now. Basically, I was privy to private conversations, and I have audio recordings that might be shocking. Milo Reed murdered his wife, and I know, because he said so.
David, what the most important thing you should know about me
Yeah?
is that there is so much that I'm capable of. And I killed my wife. David, I'm guilty. You do know that, right? Come, David, let me show you my habitat. This is where I came to be alone right after I killed my wife. Michael Fernari? Testify against me? I'd like to see that cousin-lusting incest freak try and take me down. He's like I didn't kill him instead of killing my wife. Snorkeling. So quiet down here. Reminds me of when I killed Liana. Hey, David, it's Milo. Just wanted to remind you that I did it. Call me back.
David Pascal heard every word of these confessions, but he decided to edit them out of his podcast in order to help his new buddy get out of prison.
What the? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. When I became best friends with Milo and signed on to represent him in court, I had no idea that I'd somehow become a character in his story. And that's when everything changed.
David Pascal?
Yeah?
Agent Velasquez and Agent Hunt, FBI. Can we come in and talk to you?
I'll tell you what happened next and what FBI stands for after the break. This episode of A Very Fatal Murder is brought to you by Focus Up, a brand new productivity app that helps cut out distractions by permanently breaking your phone. Tired of procrastinating on social media when you should be getting work done? Just download Focus Up, set a timer for how long you'd like to work, and bam, Focus Up will break your phone forever. Just don't download it till after you finish the rest of this episode. It gets pretty good. Destroy your distractions today with Focus Up. FBI. 3 letters that on their own could stand for any number of things. But usually when you put them together in that order, FBI stands for Federal Bureau of Investigation. What this bureau investigates varies from case to case, but in my case, they were investigating a little someone called me.
We'd like to listen to some recordings from your podcast.
Bonus material, all right. They were fans, or so I thought. I voluntarily handed over hours upon hours of unedited, unreleased interviews with Milo, tapes from the crime scene, and more. Later that day, I was officially charged with several crimes, including obstruction of justice and aiding and abetting a criminal. Milo, as it turns out, had killed Liana, and I was either too naive to notice, or I did know, and I just didn't want to admit it to myself. Which was it? I wasn't sure. Milo, how could you do this to me? I thought we were friends. You were lying to me the whole time?
What? Dude, come on. I was always honest with you. I told you so many times that I did.
I don't want to know. Milo brought back his old defense attorney, Ken Whitten, and he got him off pretty easy. Turned out the new judge was also a shareholder in Terrain, and Milo's team worked out a nice plea deal. Milo went on temporary vacation arrest in exchange for giving the state information on other tech billionaires who were guilty of murder. Interestingly, there's a lot of them. But I wasn't quite as lucky. I served as my own counsel, which is known as pro bono in the legal world. I had long conversations with my defense team, led by me, about our best plan of attack. What's the strategy here, David? We say you didn't know anything. I didn't know anything, I swear. Yep, just like that. They didn't let me record this trial, and I learned, unfortunately, that swallowing a microphone doesn't work the way I'd hoped. You can't hear anything through all the organs and stomach lining and bones and stuff. I wasn't able to get any audio of the judge's verdict in my case, so instead I cut together some earlier recordings to give you a sense of what it sounded like.
David Pascal
is guilty.
Thank you.
I was found guilty on all counts, and they even introduced a new verdict called extra guilty on a few of them. Just like that, it all came crashing down. It was the end of my beautiful life as I knew it. Ethel, or should I say Laws, provided the sentence based on her algorithm.
David Pascal, 7-2, 10 years of house arrest in his brand new house, prison.
I'm recording this episode from the Salinas Valley State Penitentiary, where I've been incarcerated for the past 6 weeks and will be living for the next 364 to 520. It's been 2 months since the trial. That sound? It's my beard again. And if you think it sounds a lot longer, you'd be right. Life in prison started out pretty difficult. I spend most of my day in a windowless cell alone. It's a far cry from my 2-bedroom bungalow with washer-dryer in the heart of Los Feliz, walking distance from both Thai Town and Griffin Park. Or was it Griffith Park? Was that what it was called? I could barely remember life on the outside. Now, the only thing I'm walking distance from is a wall and another wall. This is all I know now. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
Just recording the pod. That's Jimmy, my neighbor. I've been using a contraband recording device to tape this episode, and a contraband 27-inch iMac Pro with Adobe Audition to edit it during my free time. I keep that inside a hollowed-out 35-inch Bible. I've even been recording all the music for this episode myself, using a contraband harmonica that I hide inside of my gun. That sound? That's a D minor, the saddest note of all. But it's not all sad. I'm beginning to grow accustomed to my new surroundings. In a way, I like the sense of structure and routine that prison gives me. I am an ISTJ on the Myers-Briggs chart, after all. Although I do sometimes get ENFJ or ISFP. Sort of hard to classify, I guess. Regardless, I still look forward to my brief respites from the monotony of prison life. The fleeting moments when I get to record this episode in secret. The occasional short visit with an old friend. Buying snacks at the canteen. There's also nightly poker games with the guards. And of course, 90 minutes a week outside in the yard. I cherish my time out here. I like to stand off to the side, away from everyone, and just stare up into the beautiful yellow sun. I used to do this every day back in LA, but now I only get to do it once a week. My eyes don't work quite as well as they did at the beginning of Milo's case, but I still try to spend as much of these 90 minutes as I can looking right at that bright glowing circle. It's nice to know that somewhere out there, my family, my wife and daughters, my parents and their dog, are staring up at that same sun. That gives me comfort. I spend a lot of time out here, alone, just thinking. That's the INTP in me, I guess. This particular day, I was thinking about Milo, about the case, about the podcast. It would be easy, of course, to think of this season as a failure. I'd ended up in prison, the man I was trying to exonerate had publicly admitted his guilt, I was 100% wrong in all of my deeply held beliefs about the case, I could go on. And a lot of the media did see it as a failure. Not as good as season 1, too long, unnecessary, not worth the time or money it takes to figure out this new platform. All valid criticisms that a lot of the guys in my cell block had brought up. But what if it wasn't a failure at all? I'd started this season with a simple goal, to expose our criminal justice system and all of its flaws. And even though things haven't gone exactly as I expected, that is precisely what I've done. A guilty man, Milo Reed, a despicable, wife-murdering sociopath, and a terrible friend, has gone off with a slap on the wrist just because he's a powerful white man. And I was there to record it happening every horrible step of the way. I revealed the holes in the system and how they benefit the powerful. By tampering with evidence and illegally influencing a jury, I showed just how easy it is to tamper with evidence and illegally influence a jury. By reanimating the victim and killing her again multiple times, I had pointed out something about sexism, probably. And by defining words like subpoena and gavel, I explained to the idiotic masses in a detailed, approachable way exactly how the court system works in the United States. Or in this case, how it doesn't. I may have been trying to prove that Milo was innocent, but what I'd actually proved is that the criminal justice system is guilty. I'd improved upon season 1, brought old fans to a brand new platform while picking up new ones along the way, and mentored a talented assistant into learning the reporting skills she needed to take me down and ruin my life. This season wasn't just a success, it was a masterpiece. Standing out there in the yard while other inmates started heading inside for dinner, I smiled to myself, proud of the work I'd done. And that's when I heard the sound. A rumbling, but what was it? Could it be? No. But what if it was? Finally. The big one. Is this what it would sound like as the earthquake of the millennium swallowed California whole? I turned my attention from the setting sun to the pavement of the prison yard, half expecting a crack to open, the earth and concrete to form powerful jaws that would eat me alive and chew at my bones as the big one ravaged the quiet desert valley. But the earth didn't shake. Nothing moved, and the hum grew louder and closer until I realized what it was. This wasn't an earthquake at all. It was a strangulation drone, one of Milo's. And as it got closer, I realized it wasn't just any strangulation drone. It had Liana's missing infinity scarf wrapped around its beak. It was the drone, the missing murder weapon, device number 190936B, the drone Milo had used to murder Liana. And as it rose above the concrete walls, over the barbed wire, and past the guard tower, I started thinking about those walls. They were pretty effective at keeping people inside the prison, but were they effective at keeping drones outside the prison? If this particular drone was any indication, the answer was no. But where had this missing drone been the last 6 months? And what was it doing here, now, in the middle of the desert, so far from Milo's compound? That question was quickly answered. It was coming straight for me. It lowered and flew in my direction. There was nowhere to run. The drone's cold metal hands were around my neck now, gripping hard. I tried to fight back, to pry its claws away, but that just made them squeeze even harder. It was strong, and I was not.
Who sent you?
But the drone didn't answer. As the light drained from my eyes, I wondered, who could have done this to me? Could I summon one last moment of strength and break free? Would anyone come to my rescue? Or was this the end for David Pascal? I stared upwards, straight ahead, into the light at the end of the tunnel. When I squinted, it looked a lot like the sun. Would I live, or would I die? Find out next season on A Very Fatal Murder. Season 2 of A Very Fatal Murder was brought to you by Cell Block C and the Santa Monica Light Rail. Also, special thanks to Roger Deakins for the cinematography in this episode. To check out the visiting hours at Salinas Valley State Penitentiary or to donate to my commissary fund, visit our website. And finally, thanks to my cellmate Billy the Butcher for providing the outro music for this episode. His parole board meets again this month.
Haven't you always wanted to hold a podcast episode in your hands? Now you can. Subscribe to The Onion to receive 12 monthly issues of the newspaper. Head to membership.theonion.com to learn more.